Hey, Daniel, have you ever seen a Shaft movie
You ever
before?
been to Blinker City? Population. This guy. Slow internet connection. Fuck you.
Have you ever seen a
Uh,
Shaft movie before?
no. What is this? That's like some sort of like porno flick kind of
No,
thing.
no, 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 no. It's a black exploitation movie from the 70s. I mean, he's
Oh,
a black pirate dick. He's talking to all the chicks. He's
okay.
Shaft,
Interesting.
and
Right.
he solves crimes just by being
Hmm.
black.
Really? Is that all it takes? That's
Pretty much.
incredible.
Yeah, and then
And
they
so
made
what?
one.
Surely that can't be all it's about.
Well, I mean, he went to
Bug in my
Africa
room.
once.
Oh, what did he do
Yeah.
there?
He stopped the slave trade.
Really? I was wondering who did that.
Yeah, it was
Because I
Shaft
remember hearing about that back in the day that,
back
like
in the
people thought the
70s.
slave trade was over, but then it actually ended. It was some big thing.
Right, it was
Uh,
Shaft, yeah.
I remember there
And
being
then,
like some sort of James
and then
Bond type
in
villain was
yeah,
behind that.
in 2000, he looked different because he was his nephew.
Oh,
He kinda looked
not
like
his son.
no, not his son, not yet at
Not
least.
not maybe even his brother who was only 6 years
6 years
younger than
younger.
him.
Yeah, not yet, not
Okay,
yet.
okay, all right,
He was at this point his nephew,
right.
and they did something, and I don't really
Oh,
remember
did
what
they?
happened in 2000.
I feel like I've heard of this. This was I
American
remember,
Psycho was there.
yeah, Patrick Bateman, and Chance the Rapper. I remember hearing about that
Right.
on MTV back in
I
the
remember
day.
hearing about that on a podcast I listened to. I don't know what they were
Right.
waffling
Yeah, on
about. They were
MTV back in the day. Yeah.
yeah, MTV is no longer with us. Did you know that?
Is that true? I thought
Yeah,
they
they
just
had their
didn't play
last
music
broadcast,
anymore,
like,
but
last week. Yeah.
I mean, good riddance. What they ain't been MTV since this decade, you know.
Right. This yeah, it's been, like,
I mean, I want my MTV, you
I
know.
don't know. I like,
I want
MTV
my
Cribs. Now I'm looking at a crib right next to where
MTV.
T lives. That's Tom Cruise, whatever
I
she approves.
want
Remember those
my
Afro bros
MTV.
as the refreshments, like,
Do you think that's a close enough to the actual song that we could get demonetized for me
both of
singing it?
us could because 'cause we're singing 2 songs over each other.
Right. Well, I think it'll cancel out. It's like a remix.
Yeah,
Like a
it's like
remix is technically a
Shazam.
new thing. No. Oh, well, the guy from Chuck. Yeah, Zach Levi.
Right. No, I was talking about
I
the
remember I
app
joined
that
I joined his Instagram live once. He accepted my thing, and I had really bad internet connection. I was super awkward and uncomfortable talking to him.
and you called him Shaft.
I don't think so. I don't think I had seen Shaft yet because I didn't
He
see Shaft
tw
until I watched this movie
right.
when it
What a
was
weird first
re-released
Shaft.
on Netflix in 2019 after it was released in theaters in 2019.
Was this your first Shaft?
Yeah, and
Cool.
yours. But
Yeah.
real quick, who is the man who would risk his neck for his brother, man?
JJ.
Oh, Junior. Okay.
Oh, we're off to a rough start.
I want my
Now
MTV.
I'm looking at a crib right next to where he lives. Shaft.
Shaft
Now,
2019, the
this is the
third
perfect time
movie called
to
Shaft.
I was gonna say, this is the perfect time to talk about it because we haven't yet. There are what? 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 5 Shaft movies.
Yo, if we had an editor, cut to when we've talked about that before.
There are 5 Shaft movies. There's Shaft,
Mhm.
Shaft's Big Score,
Sure is.
Shaft in Africa,
Sure was.
Shaft 2000.
And the 1999 that preceded. 1,999 other movies before that one.
Right. And then Shaft 2019. There were 18 between those two.
Right.
Now, here's my question. Who on earth thought it was a good idea to make a franchise, not reboot it at all,
No. Why would
and then
they?
just name 3 of the movies in that franchise the same title?
Um, something Story. This movie was made by a man whose last name was just Story. I think I remember seeing that in the opening credits. So an NPC, a not real person, a computer generated Hollywood automaton.
And I kind of get it for Shaft 2000 because it does feel like a reboot. However,
Right.
this is a direct sequel to that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
They could have
100%.
called
And we'll
it
talk
like
about that. We'll get there.
Shaft's
They
Shaft's New Age, Shaft's
Sure,
Son,
sure.
Shaft,
Return of Shaft, I feel like
right?
would have been a classic, good one.
Right.
But I feel like that also would have worked for the 2001.
Sure.
This
But
one
they
could have been
didn't.
Shaft's Revenge,
They
maybe.
didn't do that for the
No,
2001.
no, it's just Shaft. It's all it needs to be. It's Shaft. Every 20 years, you're allowed to make another movie with the same title. You know,
Is that the
and I don't know
law?
if it was more than 20 years between uh the Roundtree one, and it was like
74 to 2000 is like 27
yeah,
years, almost
who
30.
cares? Who cares?
So in 30 years we might get another Shaft. In fact, we
Maybe,
probably
or
will.
20, or even 19. Maybe it'll be even less. This maybe it'll only be like 10. Maybe they'll
18.
bring back A Train.
I
Well, I feel
doubt
like,
it.
let's think, because it was we went from 27 to 19. So next time it'll be
12.
11. One of those, yeah. I think yours
Yeah.
is was probably more mathematically sound, but who cares? We watched Shaft 2019. It was awesome. It was the first Shaft movie we
Either
ever
of us
watched, so
saw, yeah.
therefore the first Shaft movie ever made.
No,
Because reality is perceptive to the individual.
is it?
Yeah. Well, if I didn't know of something, it didn't exist to me, and I only perceive what I perceive.
I only perceive
You know?
thoughts.
All I know is that I don't know nothing.
All I know is Shaft.
No matter what, and when I walk into the clubs, all the shafts go up and they stay up.
How'd you get there?
Oh, I don't know,
How'd your
man. This is
brain
a
get
bad
there?
episode,
Yeah,
though,
this
but
is
I'm
bad. Drop a
fucking with it.
comment. Let us know how bad this episode
Real quick,
is.
we're at the point. Send this to. I mean, might as well send it to someone you hate because this fucking sucks, and tell them it's the best thing ever. I got it. Send this to someone who you don't like, you don't fuck with, you're not rocking with them, but they really like you. Like they dick ride you like crazy. They glaze you. They really want to be in your clique. They want to be you, but you're just like this guy's a dick rider. I don't fuck with him. Send this to them and tell them like it's your favorite thing ever, so that they'll listen to it because they want to be like you so bad.
Send this to someone you know who's got a pet. Any pet will do.
Mm.
Yeah, just anybody who's got a pet, tell them to put it on their TV in their living room so that their
Yeah,
pet can watch with them.
that, but also specifically some sort of pet that's in a terrarium or aquarium, any eum really, like if you got a lizard or a snake or even like a gerbil or something that's in a cage, just pop your phone on the screen, like on the side, maybe
Any
even on the
animal
top.
that doesn't have like free reign of the house.
Right, yeah. And
Yeah, you got
just
a fish like me. You got a
yeah, pop this
goldfish.
video on there.
Go ahead and put
Maybe
it on
pull
your
up one of our
phone and put your
pull it
phone
yeah,
in
put it on your
in the
phone. Pull up
aquarium.
probably not that, but if it's a terrarium, that could be all right because it's not wet.
Well, you want to make sure the fish can hear us.
I think sound can travel through water if it's loud enough.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be like. Go ahead and drop your phone in there.
I
Just like prop it up
probably
against
don't
the
do that. I
glass.
mean, if you've got a life-proof case, yeah. Like, I mean, most modern phones are water resistant, but I feel like if you put it underwater, especially if you just leave it on, which is what I'm gonna say to do. In fact, I'm gonna go a step further and say put on one of our playlists so it just cycles through all our videos
Yeah,
and
or find one of our to
right,
fall
or a
asleep
good
to
four
videos.
hour
Yeah,
compilation videos. Yeah,
I think we got 2 of those up. We've got
there's a
Pre-MCU
couple,
Marvel
There
and
may
Star
be maybe a
Wars at
couple
this point.
more by the time this is out, but probably not.
Probably
Uh,
not. I think just
who
the
knows
2.
though? I don't know.
One
All
of
I
them
know is
came
that
out last week.
uh, my niece done got bit by a copperhead and died.
Go ahead and send this to someone you know who has a dead family member.
Oh,
It could be any dead
yeah.
family member. It could
I
be a
mean, yeah. I
niece.
assume
It could be an uncle.
most people. I mean, everyone, in fact, has a dead family member.
Well, like somebody you were close to
A
who
family member
died.
they
Yeah.
knew. Yeah, yeah.
Also, yeah, Dan, that's the point. We were trying to get this out to as many people as possible. You know
All right, man, relax. You don't have to raise your
Um,
voice at me, okay?
Hey Dan, do the cute anime sneeze.
I don't want to. I'll pepper it in.
You
You
know what I
get
mean?
it. You sneeze.
I think that's all I got this time. A chewy. The
Um,
Shaft.
he's a black private dick. He's a sex machine, not just to some of the chicks, but to all of them.
At least two of them are. Two of the Shafts are.
One of them is named Irresistible, and that's not just a stripper name. That shit is for real.
Yeah, two of the Shafts are a sex machine to all the chicks. The other one,
Right. The other's a
the
fucking.
worst. I hate him.
He's a stupid dork, but I fuck with him. Dalton doesn't like him because he's a hater, but I like a stupid little cringy nerd. You know, I was a stupid little cringy nerd
Me
once before I
too.
got
And
cool.
also, by the time I got 25, I got out of it. You know what I mean?
Well, sure, yeah.
I like a
I got
stupid
out of
little
it before I
cringy
got out of
nerd.
high school,
I
but
like a
like
stupid little cringy nerd when
it's
he's like
still
12. I hate a stupid little cringy
sure, but
nerd when he's a grown
it's
man.
fun. You can't have him be 12 in the context of the movie, and
Good.
I
You
like the
could. In
dynamic.
fact, it would have been way
You
better.
could. It might have actually been better saying that, yeah. But it worked. But the with the plot of him being a Fed and that because you need the Shaft, him working for the man, which admittedly is only a Sam Jackson one, although kind of for
No,
Shaft
just the Sham
he was
Jackson one.
working well, he was working with the police and then
He
he
was
had to
working
stop
with the
so he could
man. Yeah.
he had to stop to really get it done, and he called that guy shitty after he called him shitty. Remember that? Remember Richard Roundtree's Shaft?
No.
Oh, well, he was a complicated man, and no one
Did
really
anybody get
understood
him?
him. Well, his woman did,
Hmm.
yeah, and his other woman, and his other woman who didn't get
Shaft.
her clitoris chopped off because of him.
Can we jump into the plot now? 12 minutes
Nah.
and 15 seconds
So
in.
the movie opens with flashback to
Call that
before
a shaft back.
Sam a shaft back to before the Sam Shaftson Shaft 2000 film
Which seems
in
a little strange, but I
1989.
get it
It's
because the
weird.
son would have only been 19 years old at this point, so it makes
Right.
sense why they
It
had
was
to do that.
weird. It was confusing to us when we were watching, but then it immediately explained it in the transition. So it opens, it's him talking to his woman that understands him, and she's giving him shit as some goons are coming up to shoot him, and he, you know, he tries to shove her down for sexually innuendous purposes, and then she's like, "Ah, get out of here, Shaft. You're a complicated man." And then people start shooting, and then she's like, "Oh, come on, we can't do this anymore with all the shooting and the violence and the shooting. Come on, it's too dangerous." He's like, "Ah, come on, honey, I'm a complicated man. You're supposed to understand me."
Things are
And
different now,
she's
Shaft.
like, "It's
We have
different
little
now." And
JJ.
it pans over to the little light skinned baby in the back seat, little JJ Junior. And then we flash through time. It's showing like birthdays and Christmases that where Shaft has no contact with Shaft Junior to the mother's request. She left him because he's a dangerous man, but he sends little gifts,
Well, I
and
mean,
there's
I would
they're
also
small
argue
little
he's a
things.
complicated man.
Well, sure, but I would think that
And if
she
anybody should
understands
understand
that.
him, it should have been her.
That's what I'm saying. But I drank today. Be 4th of July. This will be
Really?
released in
Really? Did you now?
no, I
Did you?
actually I've never touched the stuff. I'm actually in the pro I'm a friend of Bill's.
Yeah, so Shaft.
He's a complicated man.
He sends his son condoms and a Super Bowl
Yeah,
ring.
condoms for his 10th birthday and also his 18th birthday.
Right.
Depending on who you ask.
I'd say probably
But
he did
yeah,
it for both.
probably, yeah. So then we after
He
that
never
we
used them,
see
so
for sure that boy do not fuck. But we see Shaft, JJ Shaft. He's a little fed. He's like a
He's played by A-Train
nerd.
from The
He's played
Boys.
by
That's
A-Train
going to
from
be
The
important
Boys.
because that's probably what we will
Jesse
refer to
Usher.
him as.
We will for sure call him A-Train, yeah. Or I'm also going to call him JJ and or Junior Junior and or John Junior Junior JJ Junior John Jacob Jingleheimer Junior. So if you
Really?
hear
Is
any
that
of
what you're
those,
going to...
you
Can
know
you
who we're
repeat
talking
that?
about.
Can you repeat that
I
real quick?
can't, and I probably won't, but I might.
Do
So
it.
he's a fed. He's John Jacob Jr. 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 is he's like some sort of nerd geek analyst
He's the worst.
for the FBI. He's the worst. He is quite possibly and quite literally the most stereotypical nerdy side character from a Disney movie of the week. Like he sucks. But I fuck with him.
He is quite
We got a
possibly
little
my
bug
least
flying
favorite
through the room.
character ever put
He's
to film.
awesome. And his dynamic with the real star of this movie, Samuel L. Shaftson, because this movie, simply titled Shaft, is actually a sequel to the movie simply titled Shaft.
Right.
Uh,
That can't be stressed enough. This is a direct sequel
yeah,
to Shaft
this is
2000.
Sam Jackson's second Shaft movie,
Right.
straight up.
This is
And Jesse
his
Usher's
big
there
score.
too. He's A-Train. He's there. He's Shaft. Richard Roundtree's in the third act. He's also there. He's Shaft. But it's Sam Jackson's movie,
It is.
and as it should
This
be.
is Samuel L. Jackson's big score.
Right? Yeah. This is his Shaft in Africa. You know, he
Well, that
literally
would have been
calls
his
himself.
third movie.
Well, sure, but in us watching it and in being more fun and exciting, you know,
I don't know. I haven't seen Big Score, so
Shaft in Africa is more fun and exciting.
ah.
But I don't. I was gonna say he calls himself Black James Bond, but it's
He
it's
does.
JJ Train that calls him
Right.
that. I think he says it mockingly. He says he thinks he's Black James Bond.
To which
To
Shaft
which Sam
says,
Staffson has the hardest response, where he says, "If that motherfucker was real, he would think he's me."
yeah, there's a lot of hard responses in this, and we'll
Yeah,
kind of sprinkle them
and
in
he's
as we remember them.
right as we can remember. Yeah, but he's much more Shaft
Shaft?
in this
Yeah.
than he was. And
The first one,
this was something you complained about more. I mean, not really complained, just commented on more than I did in the last one. That he wasn't Shaft enough.
right.
And this one makes up for that. Goes above and beyond. He's Shaft.
Way
You know, he is a
this movie,
complicated man.
as far as I don't know if this is a better movie than Shaft 2000. It's probably not. Shaft 2000 is probably a better
Right.
made movie. As
Yeah.
far as Shaft goes, like the one-liners,
Sam Jackson is a better Shaft in this, without a doubt.
way better,
Yeah.
way better Shaft in this. I love
For sure.
his portrayal of Shaft and Jonathan Shafterton in this movie.
Right, Junior.
No, well, yeah, not the third. Because
Kind
John
of.
Shaft Jr. is the third.
Right,
We
but
find
also
that out
John
later,
Shaft.
but right now
John
he's
Shaft
his nephew.
isn't a right. Yeah, true. But he's a complicated man.
Right. It's a complicated family, man.
True. Family Man, Peter Griffin.
Lois, I'm John Shaft.
Hey Lois, I'm Shaft. So Fed Shaft, his boss from Transformers, Titus he's talking, he's saying, I'm not racist towards Muslims, but
Oh,
these
yes,
Muslims
I
are
forgot.
terrorists.
I forgot that the first half of this movie is just racist. But it turns out
it's
to
blatant
pay off.
Islamophobia, but it has payoff. It is a red herring. It is commentary of sorts, I guess,
Right.
in the most bare minimum 2019 way.
I don't know that I'd say 2019. This very much
I'm
feels like
riffing, dude. I don't.
2005. Like this is
Sure, whatever.
2005 TV show
Time
era
stands
commentary.
still.
Feels like a commentary from like Hawaii, the first season of Hawaii 5-0.
Sure.
Criminal Minds, even.
Right. Yeah. But either way, this is yeah. So they set up that this I think before this we were introduced to
his friend from Victorious.
JJ's Victorious Leon Kennedy friend who is a Hispanic man playing Muslim because he's
It was the
brown.
one
They
that
could do
people
that.
fan casted for Aladdin, but he didn't get
Oh,
Aladdin, and then people were really
and
upset, even though he's
also,
not
is
Middle
he
Eastern
is
or
he also
Indian.
the one they fan cast as the Rebels Star Wars guy, or was that
Yes,
the actual Aladdin
yes,
guy, or was it both of
both,
them?
both,
Yeah,
yeah,
makes sense. But either way, this guy played Leon S.
and neither
Kennedy
of
in
them got it.
Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City, the best Resident Evil movie ever made. Comment down below if you disagree.
I haven't seen
Um,
any of them.
that's the only one I've seen, but
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of that one. It's complete schlock, and I love it. But
So
we'll get
yeah,
there. We'll do Resident Evil
his
sweep in
friend
5 years.
dies,
His
and
friend
this
dies.
leads
We
JJ
established that
into
his
a
friend
mission.
was a former uh, unknown addict, but later learned presumably heroin because he dies of a heroin overdose.
Right.
But JJ doesn't buy this. He thinks, not my friend. He was clean and sober. He was a friend of Bill's. You know, he wouldn't touch the stuff. Not after last time. So he decides to look into this. He thinks it's suspicious. I think he probably first tries to bring it up to his boss, and he's like, "Ah, shut up, man." So
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. He tries to
he
bring it
goes
up
to
to his
the
boss.
only
No, he tries to investigate the mosque.
right. That's what it is. No, he goes to the he figures out through some way, talking to some goons, that homeboy Leon Kennedy was hanging out with some drug dealer named Manny. So he goes to see Manny, and then gets beat up by some goons because he's some stupid fucking nerdy schlub. Then his little girlfriend, who's not his girlfriend yet, she fixes him up a little bit, and he goes to the only man he can think of, his absentee father, Black Private Dick John Shaft, at John Shaft Investigations,
Yeah,
whatever it
something
was
like that.
called, something dope, yeah. So he goes there, he sees him, he gets first he opens the door to a
A naked woman.
a naked woman with her titties out, and then
She's covered
Shaft
in
puts a
glitter.
gun. Yeah, covered in glitter. Shaft puts a gun to his head, and he's got glitter on his beard. Uh, it's a funny one. You'll get that on the ride home. And it's a little father son reunion sort of. That's when we get the stripper name line.
Right.
And you see they have a little back and forth, whatever. They squabble, talk about condoms, whatever. Father son shit.
Yeah, normal John Shaft Jr. stuff.
Right. Yeah. And then he sees that his boy's done been beat up. He done been bit by a rattlesnake. So he says, "Who did that to you? Who's whooping on my boy?"
Whose snake rattled you? You know what I mean?
Right. And he tells him, he explains it a little bit, and then they go to Manny's drug headquarters, and John Shaft and Samuel bust some heads while A Train stands there like a fucking
Throw some
dork.
guns out the
Yeah,
window.
he throws the guns out the window. um, Shaft shoots the one guy in the leg, and A Train's like, "Hey, why'd you do that?" He's like, "So you can beat up on his friend." Well, and he doesn't jump in. He's like, "You are gonna beat up on his friend, right?" And he just stands there because he's a stupid little pussy.
He's the
So
worst.
then
I hate him so much.
so then Shaft shoots that guy in the leg too, and then gives him his guns. He throws them out, and then Manny shows up. Shaft gives him shit. Then he runs away. Then they
Then
chase
Shaft
after him.
shoots him
They
in the
they get
leg and
him
takes
and
$100 from him.
takes his money. Crushed his balls, or maybe that was the other guy earlier. Crushed someone's balls for sure. Uh,
This is the guy
yeah.
earlier, I think,
He
but it
took
doesn't
no
matter.
he took Manny's money because when he was beating him up, he got some of his blood on like his clothes or something. He was like, "Man, you stained my jacket, man. That shit's gonna cost $100." So he took it from him. He took exactly 100 too, which was pretty respectable.
Yeah.
Um, and then some other stuff happens. Maybe this is when they go to the club.
I think
This
so.
is
They're in
this
the
is I think
car,
standard part of the movie where we stop paying attention and start just talking about whatever.
especially in a Shaft
Um,
film.
right.
They
But I
go to
think
the
yeah,
club, I think because
this is the
Jay
club. Yeah, he
Johns
does one
Jr.
shot and gets
Yeah.
drunk
Well,
because he's
John
a
Jr.
lightweight little
thought they were
puss.
continuing with the plot, but
Right, but
Shaft
he's
was
just
just
going to get drunk and get some pussy. Yeah,
right. Real John Shaft. Let's
right.
take
The
this
real.
portion where we quit paying attention to talk a little bit about John Jr., a
Mm,
character who you're a fan
let's
of and
talk
I'm
about it
not.
because we
Because
have
we
different views on this. Yeah, which is rare, surprisingly rare for
we
this show. We
agree.
usually agree on most
We
things.
agree on the character. We just have
Right. We
different
agree on
responses.
exactly what he is. We just have different views
I hate
on
his
him.
guts.
Yeah. I think he's a fun, silly little guy and perfectly contrasts the way Sam Jackson's Shaft evolved perfectly into peak Shaft in
Yeah,
this.
I think
Even better so once
my
Richard
thing
Roundtree
is,
comes in.
had he been introduced after Shaft Senior, had this movie been the opposite, where we're focusing on Shaft Senior up till his son
Mm.
shows up, I think then
Here's what it should have been. Um the girl character shouldn't have been the one that was kidnapped. It should have been John Shaft Sr. It starts with him, old man, investigating something, probably that drug dealer that Sam Jackson had a connection to, because that was set up in the beginning. We haven't talked about that, but drug dealer is all main drug dealer. Gordito is big guy, cold case from Shaft's past, Sam Shaftson. But yeah, it should have been Richard Roundtree Shaft investigating him. He goes missing, presumed dead, but he's just kidnapped. Then Sam Jackson Shaft is also going after him, and the FBI is unrelatedly looking into it, which happens to be JJ, and it all sort of ties in. And get a good writer who's not drunk to make that good, but you know
yeah, I think my thing is
but
like
it should go periodically. Like it should start with
introducing. I
it
don't
should
even care
start
if
with
you
the
introduce
focus.
Samuel L. Jackson first and save Richard Roundtree for the end.
Sure, yeah, but I think
Introducing
it works with
introducing
that. But
JJ first and having him be the main character you follow for this
well,
first like 20 minutes.
it tries to, and it's almost a bait and switch, but it's not done like a bait and switch. It's just a thing that happens. But it's like it seems like he would be the main character because he's the focus. He shows him as a baby, shows his life through the opening credits, shows
And and him
he's
and
the
Samuel L.
focus. He's
Jackson,
the emotional story. It's his revenge arc.
him and Samuel L. Jackson
But
very
he's
much
not the main
share
character of
that.
this
Well, I
movie.
would disagree.
I
I
mean,
think him and Samuel L. Jackson very much
he
share
is.
the main
It's
character role.
sure, and maybe it's just because Sam Jackson stands out because he's the more Shaft one. It's called Shaft.
Right, he's
Ugh.
Shaft.
Sam Jackson is, in my mind, and I think in most viewers' mind, the titular Shaft of this movie.
I would even argue for
JJ
most
also
modern
happens to
viewers.
be the second leading
For most modern
man.
viewers,
You know,
Samuel L. Jackson is Shaft. You think Shaft, you think Samuel L. Jackson.
sure, yeah.
Eh,
I mean, maybe I don't know about that. I feel like with Shaft, which is something that's already pretty niche, like I don't know. I mean, it's not that niche, but it's old. It's more than 20 years old.
sure. I still think
Like I feel like if you know Shaft, like I don't know, and with nostalgia, internet, fucking old head teenagers, like there are kids that have seen the 70s Shaft,
probably,
at least
probably.
a couple.
I would have. I
But
just have to imagine the Samuel L. Jackson Shaft aired on TV a lot,
probably, sure,
but not
yeah.
the point. The point being, it by the time that the contrast between the two characters gets interesting, I've already decided that I hate A Train. By
Right.
the
See, I
time
don't. I find him annoying, but I like a character that is funny, cringe, annoying not alone. He's super annoying when it's him alone, but
And
I
that's
do
the
still
first 20
enjoy.
minutes of the
I do
movie.
still right, and I think this is where we disagree because I enjoy him because I enjoy that actor. I think Jesse Usher is a talented actor. I think he's got a sort of natural likability and charm and charisma to him that even though he's playing this annoying, hateable, love to hate character, like he's fun. I like the guy, you know. I don't know what to say. He's likable.
Yeah. We
But
just
it
disagree there
really
because I don't like
right,
him.
and that's all right. But my main point is that the dynamic of his character works perfectly in contrast to Sam Jackson's
Yes, and
Shaft.
he does.
And that's really when it gets good. When it's them
For
together, them
sure. The 2
investigating,
of
which
them
is most of
together
the
I like,
movie.
which is you're right, it is most of the movie. My main argument is I think by the time they finally get together, I've already decided that I hated him. And
Right. And
had
I
they
get that,
been
but I think
together either
hating
the whole
him
time or had they had it
but
been
I think that hating him and maybe not, I think you might hate him a little too much. I don't know. You're just a hater and that's all right,
for sure.
but
I just
you know,
I can't
but hating
stand.
him is not to say the point, but it's what adds to the comedy of their dynamic because his own father hates him. He thinks he's a pussy. He thinks he's cringe. You know, he thinks he's not a man. He's not Shaft enough. And you hating him, you as the viewer not liking him and agreeing with Sam Jackson, or even if some viewers have the opposite perspective, they like JJ Shaft but don't like Sam Jackson Shaft, which how could they? What are they, stupid fucking idiots? It still works because you agree with one character and you know, funny laugh at the funny. So he gets drunk and kicks some guy's ass by dancing.
See, that's my point.
You didn't like that scene?
I like the idea of
I
that scene, but
fucking
I
loved
hate
that
him.
scene. I liked him in that scene.
Here's what I
How
want you
can
to
you not
imagine.
like him in that? He wasn't
Imagine.
even nerdy in that scene. He was just
Imagine.
drunk
No, no, no.
dancing.
I want you to imagine that just think of a character you hate
Sure. Yes.
just in
Yes. Yes.
anything.
Yes. Either of the other shafts would have been better in that scene. Sure.
No, no, think of any character who you don't like in any film or TV show or whatever. Just a character who you find obnoxious.
Does it have to be a character?
Think of
Can it be a
me.
real? Can it be a
Think
real
of
person I'm talking to?
think of me, right?
Uh
And then
huh.
suddenly I'm in a movie and I just defeat someone by dance fighting. You're not going to be like,
See, but
"Oh
that
yeah,
would be
that's sick."
funny,
You're going to be like, "God, of course he's dance fighting."
right? But I would think it's funny. It doesn't have to be sick. It can still be funny, you know.
Yeah, but
And maybe it's just a difference in opinion. Maybe it's that
I don't think they were
I
trying to be funny in that scene though, is the thing.
either way, it doesn't have to be intentional. It's I don't know. It's cringe comedy, which maybe I like and you don't, and that's okay.
I do like cringe comedy. I don't know. I just
You don't like this, and that's all right. It's
I
okay.
like this movie a lot.
Right, not this scene though.
No.
Which
I
is
mean, I
weird because
do
I feel
like
like you
this
weren't
scene.
watching this scene. I feel like we were talking over the scene,
No,
and
because this was the scene where I
then
joked that
yeah
somebody gave him Everclear because he only had one shot.
right. No, this scene was good. You were enjoying this scene. You're
Yeah.
talking shit, but you this was when you started to tolerate him. You never liked him,
Yes.
you never will, but this is when you
This is the
this scene
probably
was the
his
one
most
moment you
likable scene in the movie,
right.
which is sad, but
Which
it's true.
from you that is a high compliment towards
Right.
this character.
Right. Yeah, this is his most likable scene in the movie. He's dance fighting. He tells Shaft Senior, he's like, yeah, yeah, Mom made me learn dance fighting, and he's like, I
Right. The guy comes
knew.
out when I'm drunk
Yeah,
off one single shot
and
that
then
was
Shaft's
ever
like,
clear maybe.
I wanted to be proud of you, but I can't because I hate you.
I wish I could abort you at 25 years old. That's what he says. I didn't say
It's
that.
almost verbatim, verbatim, even.
Some would say, not
Who?
many, but some. So what happens next in this movie?
I don't know. You're doing a plot breakdown, bro.
I am, aren't I? All right,
Lock
Talk about
in.
some stuff while I lock in
So the
while
dance
looking off
fighting,
screen.
there's the dynamic. We're finally starting to see the father-son dynamic sort of develop. We've seen
Right.
we've seen Shaft Senior. He almost like he's very protective of his son, but at the same
Mhm,
time,
but that's he doesn't like him.
I
Like
don't
he
even know that
loves
he
him.
doesn't like him. He's just hypercritical.
Right. He's embarrassed by
I
him
think it's more
is a
like
better
that.
way of
Yeah,
saying it.
he's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I don't know."
He thinks he's cringe. Yeah.
Right.
I get it.
I
He's
don't wanna
cringe.
yeah, I don't wanna acknowledge that you're my son, but at the same time, I'm gonna protect you because I'm your dad, and that's what dads do. And he's
Right.
got the
Yeah.
whole, we've established the "I'm better than my father" thing. Um,
Right. Right.
and at this point, they haven't revealed. So if you didn't know, they haven't revealed that Richard Roundtree is his father. At this point, we still think Richard Roundtree Shaft is his
Right.
uncle. If those movies are even supposed to be the same
True.
continuity, it almost
Which I
feels like
think,
in
as far
Shaft
as we
two.
know, they
Well,
are.
in Shaft 2000, it
They
almost feels
show
like
they
a
show. We never said this, but they show a scene or two, according to you, from Shaft
no,
2000
no. I
in
don't mean
the
that one.
opening
I mean
thing.
in Shaft
Oh, you
2000,
mean the Shaft,
it feels more like a
the
reference that the
Roundtree
original
ones.
ones are,
Right,
less
right,
like
true.
it's true
But
that those things happened.
given the way this movie acknowledged the last movie, you kind of have to assume they're all just
Well, I'm saying
like all those
at this
movies did
point,
happen.
you probably, as a fresh viewer, wouldn't be like,
I
"Oh, Richard
mean,
Roundtree, that's the original Shaft. He's his dad." They're still kind of trying to hold
Sh
that
sh
as a
well,
secret.
sure. Right, right. Yeah, we know it because we saw it on IMDb or whatever. Yeah.
Right. We know it because we saw it in 2019 when it
Right,
came out,
yeah.
and it's the poster and or
Right.
the thumbnail to this video slash podcast episode. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so he's like, "Oh, well, my dad was horrible. I want to be a better dad than he was, and I want to try and be a better dad to you, even though I almost got you and your mother shot." Um, I don't really know what happens after they leave the club. Oh, they go back to A Train's house. And then that's when Samuel L. Jackson drinks the coconut water and doesn't like the way it tastes because A Train is about to
Right.
vomit.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause he's drunk off that sauce.
And he just keeps making fun of him. Like that's kind of the movie from for the middle portion. It's very funny, it's very good, but it is Samuel L. Jackson just making fun of his
Right.
son.
We I don't know if it was before or after this, but we get the I think it was before because it was when he was beating up Manny. We get the brothers watching brothers
Yes. Yeah.
little subtle homophobia joke and also plot point.
Which
We
okay, this is gonna sound horrible.
okay.
It's gonna sound horrible. Very
Mhm.
refreshing to see in a movie from
Oh.
2019.
Yeah, I guess sure. I
Because
get kind of
not for the reason of I think like we should let's make fun of him. Like not that, but more like yeah, a black private
well,
detective
it's a Shaft thing to do.
a black
Yeah.
private detective in Harlem, that's exactly what he's going to say.
Right.
A black
Yeah.
private detective in Harlem is absolutely without a doubt going to be making
Right.
fun of a group called Brothers Watching Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I would,
And
but so yeah, we
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 you
learn
miss a
that.
lot of that in like the modern era. Like you miss
Yeah,
a
shut up. Who
lot of
cares?
okay, yeah, I
We
thought we were
le-
just talking about the movie. That's my fault. My fault. I'm sorry. We'll just do a different podcast, I guess.
my fault. Go ahead, say whatever
No,
thing
it's
you're
done.
gonna
I'm done. I'm
say.
done. I'm done. I ate KFC tonight.
So, dead friend Leon Kennedy. We learn he was involved, and this was earlier, but whatever. He was involved with the Brothers Watching Brothers program, which is some program for former soldiers, for veterans to help them re-enter the workforce and
Addicts, right? Like it's
try and
specifically addicts that are
addicts. I don't think
veterans.
specifically addicts, but with an emphasis on that. I think just specifically like so because I mean there's a high influx of veterans like in the like homelessness, like there's a
Right.
uh you know
Veterans
Uh,
addicted to substances trying to deal with
right, and they
what
were,
they've
yeah, they
experienced.
were,
Yeah.
because yeah, right, PTSD, all that shit, and it's just one of those general programs to try and for soldiers by soldiers is one of the things they say, and that's Shaft says that. See, now that's a better name.
Right.
Which it is,
Right, for sure.
and yeah, so he was involved in that. Um, and they act sort of shady when they go and ask him about it, but then they move on from that.
The shadiness is played off very well because it very much feels like Shaft just being like,
Right. It makes it seem like Shaft is the weird one who's being like, the overprotective dad, the too nosy detective, the whatever, the homophobic Sam Jackson, whatever. Uh so then something happens after they get up. Um oh, um the Jesse, my leather black jeans on,
my shaft
my
any
by any
means on.
means.
Pardon, I'm giving my shaft on.
uh, if they see a black shafted white woman at the top floor, they come to kill Shaft Kong.
Middle America
So
shaft in.
Shaft in came to kill me and my shafts again.
Number one question
So
they shaft in.
fuck every question they shaft in.
If I don't get ran out
So
by
we
shaft is.
learned that Shaft, JJ's mom, Shaft baby mama, is dating, has been dating, whatever.
She's dated
Um,
9 men since Shaft.
right,
To which she
which in
says,
Shaft words is
"Oh,
nothing.
nothing
Oh, so
serious then."
nothing serious. um, so
Oh,
yeah, we learned she's coming into the city to go on a date.
yeah.
And which Shaft proceeds to crash. She's dating some nerd, some schlub,
Super
some
nerd.
dork. When Shaft is crashing
He
this, it
looks
gets
like you remember Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Out of the Shadows?
yes, Baxter Stockman in
Yeah,
that for
looks
sure,
just like
for
him.
sure. Um, but yeah, so as Shaft is crashing this date, he was followed by some gunmen who shoot it up, and then he shoots them, and it makes his ex baby mama all turned on and attracted to him because
Oh
he's all
yeah.
cool under pressure, and her date is a stupid nerd who's all scared and he's freaking out like a
She's
stupid
for
nerd.
sure digging it. She even yells at her date. She's like, "Hey, shut up.
Shut the
Quit
fuck
screaming.
up.
Quit screaming."
Yeah, it's great. And then that happens, whatever, and then we cut to Shaft's JJ train, also on a date, but not really. He's it's his friend girl, new X-Men Storm. They're at some
I don't know that it's
more
quite
neon lit
new
club
X-Men
type.
anymore, but yes.
Well, whatever, newer, you know what I
Right, right,
mean,
right. That's my
within the last decade, barely, admittedly, um but yeah, they're at some club or whatever, at a booth, and they're talking and they're whatever, and then some goons show up to shoot them too, because goons be shooting Shaft.
Goons be
So
gooning, you know what I mean?
and he doesn't have a gun. It's been established throughout the movie that he's anti-gun, because he's a fucking pussy.
Because he's
Um
the
uh
worst.
but his girl got a gun. She's got a little 9 mom
Right.
type pistol that he takes, and he shoots the bad guys, and she digs it. She gets turned on because he's so cool and he's shooting the bad guys. um and then Shaft and Mama Shaft show up, and they're like, "Hey, what happened here with all the shooting? Come on."
And then John Jr. goes, I hate guns.
I just really don't like shooting, and I only did it. It was self defense, but I don't like shooting, and I don't want to do it because it's not cool and good, and I don't like shooting, by the way, and I also don't like guns.
He might as well have
And
just
then
said, I'm the worst and I hate
I'm a
myself.
fucking pussy, and you might as well punch me in my face, but I'll chill. But they go and shaft some stuff. I don't remember what happens next. At something happens, leads to girlfriend Storm getting kidnapped. uh, which like I don't know, they were just trying to. Oh, he was. I remember he was somewhere alone. I don't remember how he got there, but he was there, and then Sam Jackson showed up, and he got especially mad because they shot his car.
Right. And this is when we
But
thought Richard
then,
Roundtree was going to show up.
right, yeah. But then, girlfriend gets kidnapped, so they now have to go to Richard Roundtree. We get the father uncle reveal. They're all cool and matching with their black turtlenecks. They're so fucking awesome and dope. And
Not only black turtlenecks, but also black beanies.
but also leather black jeans on, by
That
any
too.
means on.
Pardon.
Right.
I'm getting my scream on.
Right. Or if they see a black man or white woman at the top floor, they go and come to kill King Kong.
Shaft.
Like, goes without saying.
They're gonna
But
come
so
to
they go to
kill
the
Shaft.
they go to the top floor with white woman, black jeans on. Oh no, this is the great bit. They're all wearing beanies, the matching black fits, and they go up to the security guard, and they're doing some. Oh yeah, they goad him by Richard Roundtree. He's like, I bet I can beat you in an arm wrestling, even though
Right.
I'm an old man. I'm stronger than you. And as they're arm wrestling, JJ Train goes behind and starts to do something. He's like, "Hey man, you can't do that!" And Richard Roundtree just punches him in the fucking face.
It's awesome. I love it so
It's
much.
so good.
Once he shows up, and
Yeah, it's
the
peak.
shaft to non-shaft ratio is restored.
Right. Like, I mean, the dynamic. I already love the the cool shaft loser shaft dynamic, but it's enhanced
I love it so
tenfold
much
when it's
more.
when it's two cool shaft,
And a loser
one
shaft.
stupid
Now,
lame
and
shaft.
part of the reason I like it is because of the way old man Shaft, Richard Roundtree, responds to A Train, because it's
Right.
not the same way that Samuel Jackson
Yeah.
does. Samuel Jackson is like, you got to pick your pants up and we got to go and we got a shaft or whatever. And Richard Roundtree's like, come give your granddaddy a hug. He just like loves him
Yeah.
unconditionally, the way a grandparent
then
does.
it's also like when he learns weird thing, he'll look at him strange, like he'll be like, oh, you're not shooting a gun, like
Right, but at the same time, like, he
you're not
doesn't.
gonna kiss this woman on the mouth, like.
But at the same time, he
But
doesn't ever like
he's not
hold
his
it
dad,
against him. He very
Right.
much feels like a grandfather.
It's more of like a gut reaction. It's just like, oh, that's weird, but you're my grandbaby. I love you.
Right. Like, and I like
It's
that
great.
so much because it reminds
Yeah.
me a lot, because I don't know, I was raised by rednecks or whatever. And that was always me a little bit. Like, I was a weirder kid. I was a little stranger.
Yeah,
I
you're
had
a
weird
loser, man.
hobbies, a little bit of a
Right.
loser. Yeah. And my
I
granddad
remember
always.
I remember your YouTube channel back in the day. I remember. Don't worry.
Just back
I
in
know
the
how
day.
weird you were.
Remember
I'm on a podcast with you. I know how weird you are.
you've been on 2 podcasts with me. One of which
Hey, no one can prove that.
my grandfather was still alive for, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know, it reminds me a little bit of that relationship, like a grandparent who just loves their grandchild
Sure, yeah.
unconditionally.
Even
And
though they're
that
a weird little freak, for
right,
sure.
that is my favorite part of A Train being strange. Like, him being a weird loser
Right.
shaft who I don't like, that's the best part to me, is that Richard Roundtree Shaft still enjoys him and wants to give him a hug and wants to solve these missions
sure.
with him. Like, it's so
Yeah.
wholesome and
It's
fun.
great. It's beautiful.
I'm a big
He's
fan of
Richard
that.
Roundtree. Rest in
Right.
peace. Rest in
May he.
power.
His last movie
you
was
know?
this, I think. That could not be true.
Probably. Maybe. I don't know. He died for a good couple years after it. He might have done some stuff.
Maybe, but there was
who
a
knows?
whole COVID in between.
Sure.
COVID
Yeah.
started like a year after this movie premiered.
Right. Yeah. This was the last movie made before COVID, actually.
This was
the last movie made.
This was the last movie I remember seeing before COVID.
If this is my last shit. My last shit. So yeah, they then they all bust in. It's all it's all epic and cool, but of course, JJ Train is still a stupid dork. He can't bust through the window.
Oh, it's
But,
so annoying. It made
it's
me
dumb,
so
but
mad.
it's yeah, that of all the dorky him shaft sucking, that was the worst one. But
And it
you
was
know,
made for the trailer too. Like that scene was in the
right.
trailer, and they were like, people are gonna
Like
laugh
it's
so
the
hard.
music builds up. Oh, it's so cool, it's so cool. Then record scratch. You know, but it's whatever. Then it's an epic little fight
It's
scene.
not whatever.
Uh,
I hate it.
it's whatever. It's whatever. The movie is awesome.
This could be
Shoot,
the
shoot,
last
shoot.
Shaft movie ever.
Shoot. Kill, kill, kill. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Kill, kill, kill. It won't be the last movie because I'm gonna make one.
Oh, okay. So is Donald Glover. After
True.
Bando Stone and
Bando
the World.
Stone. Yeah, whatever. So stuff happens. They shoot. I can't remember anything significant from the end fight scene. I'm sure. Oh, the piano.
Yeah.
They shoot out the leg of the piano and use it as cover, and it's awesome.
Yeah. While John Jr. is still trying to get in the window.
Yeah, while he's still outside trying to bust in.
You'd have thought somebody would have just shot at him.
Well, the glass. If you liked Unbreakable and Split, you got to finish it.
Right.
Oh, see the movie. It's on Netflix, maybe. Probably not, even though it's owned by Netflix and
think
was
it
purchased
is.
just to be distributed by Netflix. But why aren't all the other Shaft movies on Netflix, even though apparently the Shaft franchise is owned by Netflix and was purchased by Netflix to distribute this movie?
Because nobody cares about Shaft.
I care.
The only thing this movie has going for it, the only thing for a modern audience that this movie has, is that Samuel L. Jackson and A-Train are in it. That Nick Fury and A-Train from The Boys are in this movie is the only thing this movie has to promote it. No one knows who Shaft is. No one knows who Storm is.
Halle Berry, she had the accent in the first one, and she says, do you know what happens to a toad when it is struck by lightning?
The same thing that happens
to everything else.
We should do an X-Men.
An X-Men sweep would be great. Yeah. So what else to say about Shaft 219?
I like it a lot. I just hate John Jr.
I enjoy it. I like Shaft Jr. because I dislike him. And I like a character that I can dislike when juxtaposed against a character that I love so goddamn much.
I will say, we didn't really talk about this. We talked about it while we were watching. I didn't love Samuel L. Jackson Shaft in the first Shaft movie. I thought he was good.
We talked about that in
we talked about it last week, but I'm not assuming people have watched both.
Sure, fair enough.
I liked that movie. I thought he was fine, but
he was much more Shaft in this one. He was significantly better.
He was way better.
But I enjoyed him in both.
Richard Roundtree still, I think, reigns
He's
supreme.
Still Richard Roundtree. He's never changed, and he's never needed to.
As far as the future of the Shaft franchise goes, if you're going to continue making Shaft movies, and I really think you probably should.
Why not? Yeah,
even if there's
Sam Jackson a third one.
Well, I was going to say, even if there's not a ton of name recognition, whatever, I think you should probably just go ahead and reboot the franchise.
Yeah. I mean, that's the trend in Hollywood.
Well, I'd argue the trend is more what we got from this movie, which is,
I mean, sort of. Had the Sam Jackson movies not existed, it would have been rebooted by now,
for sure. Well, because the Sam Jackson movie was a reboot.
Sure, but it would have been more blatant now,
right?
Because now it's take any old franchise that people vaguely remember and reboot it. Fucking Fall Guy, Tornado, whatever, fucking
Twisters.
Yeah.
No, I think rebooting this movie, maybe even as a period piece, to make it take place in the 70s, find the right actor to play Shaft.
Right, yeah.
I think you could do something really, really cool with a modern Shaft movie that's not a sequel to the 2000s movie.
Absolutely, yeah.
Will that
And
happen?
they can do it.
Probably not.
No, but it might. Who
Maybe in
knows?
10 years.
Maybe more, maybe less. Maybe it'll be announced tomorrow. Who knows?
Who
Probably
knows?
not.
Probably not. I do like this a lot. This is it's in my favorites. Shaft hasn't missed.
No, never once.
One of those rare franchises where it literally has not missed.
Yeah. I'm sure that could change if I ever cared to watch the TV movies from the mid to late 70s.
Oh, I'm sure the
but
TV movies are
chances
no
are I
good.
never will. So
And they don't count
you
because they're
know,
TV movies.
right? TV isn't real.
Right.
So
only theatrical Shaft
only
counts.
film, only true cinema is film, not movies. Film. Thanks for watching.
I think this
we
one
like the movies. We watch the movies.
I think this one was for sure shot on digital.
No, this movie's a film. This ain't a movie. This a film.
Next week we're gonna have a special guest on with us. It's our friend Bobbin.
Right.
We're gonna be
Maybe
watching
two. I don't know.
maybe two friends. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if we can handle
Maybe
having
our
two.
friend from some Like It Studios. I have a hat of his. Look at it. It's a thumbs up. Underneath it is my hat. Semi Pro Film Show. Bonfire.com/ semi pro film
Link is in the description.
show. Maybe.
I think the link
Check it out.
tree is in the description.
But did you put the merch store in the link tree? Who knows?
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Click the annotation top right to watch the next video. Bless your face. If you sneeze during this video, bless you. Peace off. Boop.
Go fuck yourself.